Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back with Dr. Laura Jean Castelluzzo. Excited to speak to her today in regards to healthy living and so much more. We'll start again just by having her introduce herself, especially new listeners out there may not be familiar with you yet.
Yeah. Hi, Jill. It's nice to be back.
Thank you
for having me.
Well, thank you.
So I'm not quite a doctor, but the acupuncture master's degree is close to being a doctor. Some people do call me that occasionally.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. So I'm Laura Jean Castelluzzo. Some of my friends call me Sky, and I am an acupuncturist, massage therapist, and life coach. I have been on this path of personal growth and spiritual teaching for about, since 2003, and on the path myself for about 25 years. I'm a dancer, musician, community organizer, gardener. I grow some of my own food, lots of good stuff.
See, that's why I can't do her introduction. There's too many things to remember. She wears many hats, really jack of all trades, master of all trades.
Thank you. Yeah.
And if we want to reach out to you, I know you're in Buffalo, New York. It's laurajean.com. Could you spell that for us?
LauraJeanC.com. That's LauraJeanC as in cat or Castelluzzo, my last name, .com.
Perfect. And I know we got some great conversation ahead of us today. I believe we're talking about the 4 keys to healthy living in particular. Would you mind sharing what those 4 keys are to help us all live healthier lives?
Sure. Diet, sleep, exercise, and attitude.
Got it.
Yeah. So I wrote a blog about that a handful of years ago, and I've been meaning to actually write a separate blog for each one and break them all down. And I still intend to do that, but I thought I would do this podcast on the topic while I had the opportunity, because I feel like it's important to talk about.
Yeah. Now, how did you, just curious, last week we talked about holding space. I don't know if you want to go into that first, or did you want to?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I just, one thing I realized I didn't really get into last time. We were talking about people holding space for each other in circles in community, for talking circles, for example, excuse me, where like one person is speaking at a time and everyone else is listening, and it's a space of acceptance and loving acceptance and no judgment, and not really a space for advice and that sort of thing, or even responding, but just hearing people, just listening. And I was suggesting for people to be open to checking out circles if they hear of any in their community. But I also just want to put out there, in your relationships, whether it's with your romantic relationships, with your kids, your parents or friends or anything, holding space for people in relationship is so powerful and such a valuable asset to share with people in relationships. So I just wanted to put that out there, whether it's 2 people or a group of people. If you're hanging out with your friends and you want to have some really intentional time together of listening, you can just kind of drop in and hold some space for each other. So just like take your turn. And sometimes people set a timer, but it doesn't have to be some formal thing. You can just do it with your friends or family and just like listen to each other. It's really, really a great thing to do.
Yeah, relaxing, peaceful, healing, like meditation and all that you do. Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you for reminding us. Yep.
Yeah, creating that safe space.
And circles.
Yeah. So before I get into the topic, I just wanted to give a shout out to my friend Jeffrey. It's his birthday today, and I know he's listening.
Happy birthday, Jeffrey.
Yeah, happy birthday, Jeffrey.
Is Jeffrey a New York friend? Is he from
in Buffalo? Yep. In Buffalo, New York. Yep.
Any special plans for him today?
Yeah, we're gonna have some sushi with his kids later and then go see this show, I think Scarlet Begonias, the
Right?
Grateful Dead cover band.
Awesome, awesome. We'll have a
Some
great
friends are gonna
time.
some
And that is
other
sweet. Your
friends are
friends are
gonna join
supporting you
us.
here on the podcast. Love it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get right into it.
Perfect.
Um, Diet, sleep, exercise, and attitude. I'll start with diet. So a big thing with diet is what not to eat. There's so much
Yeah.
crap in our diets these
Yeah.
days, fried foods and the thing about the fried foods, which, those are okay on occasion, but if you're cooking for yourself, that's ideal because a lot of the issue with the fried foods is the oils are very low quality and just, garbage for our systems. I learned a long time ago, and some people challenge me on this, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I know that I feel good, and this is what I'm doing. The whole thing about trans fats. So I learned a long time ago when I was into eating a vegan raw diet, which I still do a lot of that, um, that all vegetable oils turn to trans fats when you cook them, and except for coconut oil. So
Okay.
so yes, some people say that that's not true. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've been cooking with coconut oil for a long time and I feel pretty good. That's all I have to say about it.
It's funny.
But
I don't think I've ever had coconut oil, used it. I know I love coconuts. I love eating a
yeah.
fresh coconut. I love coconut juice. I mean, I'm gonna try that. I can pick that up at a
Yeah.
regular store, is like, or a health food store, I'm assuming, because
Yeah, you can get it at Wegmans or any growth like major grocery store. Other grocery stores like Tops might not have it, or
hmm
I'm not sure, but I don't know if you guys have. You're in New York City, right? Are you down
I'm actually on Long Island personally, so I would do my
Oh,
shopping
okay.
there. But yes,
Yeah, I don't know if there's a Wegmans down there, but
there's not. There's not. It's funny.
yeah.
My sister just told me the other day that there's one actually coming to us because she asked me about it. I said, yeah, they have them upstate New York. They're in Pennsylvania. I said, so there is one coming somewhere. She said it'll be our first
Cool.
the chain store. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I do love Wegmans, and I go to this place called Feel Right in the Buffalo local area, and then there's food co-ops. The Lexington Food Co-op has two locations. They're great. Whole Foods is in Buffalo now. So yeah, where you shop is important. Aldi's actually, I don't know, do they have Aldi's down by you?
Nope.
Yeah, so Aldi's is another chain around
There's one that
here.
opened up a few months ago, but it's further west. So I've heard of it now, and it's got a weird logo. I'm trying to think of what it is.
I
I've never
can't
been there, but yeah.
remember. Yeah, but they have some great healthy options and really good prices. So the prices at Aldi's are really good. They don't have the selection that Whole Foods or Wegmans has, but they have some good stuff and definitely healthy options. But yeah, so back to diet. And as far as where you get your food, just before I forget to mention it, growing your own food is definitely the best thing you can do. Eating it right out of your backyard. Um,
Which you
I
do, right?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
actually in my sunroom I have some baby plants going. I call them my babies. I don't because I don't have kids or pets, so they're my babies. I have tomatoes and arugula and other lettuce and squash and some tomato, basil and some other things going. And I actually planted some um, some plants last weekend. I know it was a little bit early, but I was going for it. It's like this
Yeah.
the weather this week isn't too bad. So, but yeah, eating it right out of your backyard is the best thing you could do. The longer the plant goes from the ground to your table, the less nutritional value it has. It actually loses nutritional value the longer it's on the shelf or not getting eaten. Um, yeah, so frozen vegetables are not too bad. Canned stuff is maybe a little less great because they're also pre-cooked and just kind of sitting around. I do eat canned things occasionally, but just we all gotta just do the best we can. So the fresh, raw, and local, if you can think about those things, are fresh, raw, organic, and local are really the best ways to get your food if possible. And then eating a lot of fresh. fresh raw vegetables and fruit is also really great. I mentioned I used to do a vegan raw diet, and when you do that, there's what I learned from this one book is the food groups in raw foods. There's a lot of different people that have different ideas about what to eat on a raw diet, but I really aligned with this one theory, and it was sweets, greens, and fats are the food groups for raw foods. So I still think about that when I'm eating and preparing my meals. I try to eat as much raw as possible. I do a vegan raw breakfast almost every morning, and then I try to do at least one salad a day. And then I eat some cooked food here and there, and I do a lot of vegan stuff, but I do eat fish and eggs and some meat like once a month mostly. um, but yeah, so the sweets would be dry. I'm sorry. Well, dried fruit would be included in that, but also any kind of fruit. Bananas and dates are like some of the sweeter fruits for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's like different types of sweet fruit. So there's subacid fruits and acid fruits, and like the citrus would be grapefruit, and lemon would be more acid fruits, and then apples I think are considered subacid. Um, so the higher the water content of the fruit, the easier it is to digest. And um, I would recommend not necessarily including dried fruit with your greens and things like that. More maybe like apples or grapes, berries are really great to combine with salads and things like that because they're easy to digest.
Yeah.
So that would be the sweets, and then greens, obviously, lettuce, broccoli is kind of, I guess you could consider it a green, and then kale, Swiss chard, arugula. There's so many different kinds of greens. Um, and then fats would be nuts, seeds, avocados, coconut oil, coconut, things like that. So just to put that out there in case people want to try some raw food eating. I'm going to breathe for a second. Do you have
Yeah,
anything
take a
to share?
breath, take a breath. I know you can't. Let me just put this out there. People say organic and fresh, eat raw. And then there's some people who say, well, I can't afford to do so. Let me ask you if they say it's, if they have a table of five, a family of five to feed. And is it okay to start with just certain foods that are organic if they can't do everything? I mean,
Yeah,
little bit
absolutely.
can go a long way. And I think that's
Sure.
important to point out, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, do what you can. Yeah, always do the best you can and don't be hard on yourself. That's a great way to be with yourself and
And
life.
that we have farmers markets and all. We live on Long Island, and but the truth is, now thinking about it, are they organically grown, the farmers,
They're not
fruits and
all.
vegetables,
They're
or they're
not all.
not?
I
So
I
we
do
should
know.
ask. Yeah.
Yeah, ask
Because it
the
would be cheaper to
farmers.
buy from the farmer than the grocery store. But again, are they using
Right.
the pesticides? Are they using anything like that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes you want to, that it's kind of a toss up whether you get local that's maybe sprayed but not sprayed a lot,
Mm-hmm.
or organic from the grocery store that's been sitting on the shelf or been traveling for a week or whatever. So yeah, I have that challenge within myself sometimes. I know I definitely get some local apples from around here, and I think they're sprayed lightly. So some farmers spray, but they don't spray as much as general conventional farmers would spray, or the really bad sprays or whatever, so there's levels of everything. And I think within organic, those are still sprayed probably with something or not as much. They have different regulations, but I don't know all the details, I'll tell you
Got it.
that.
Okay. No problem. No problem. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, just do the best you can for sure. And local, organic, whatever works. Trust your gut. Sometimes I just kind of listen to my internal guidance and do what feels right. If it looks really great and your body is saying yes, then go for
Yeah.
it.
Oh, great. And now another thing on your list, you've talked about sleep and having consistent sleep and how important that is, right?
Yeah, let me just think really quickly. Oh, I'm gonna just touch on a couple more diet things before we move on.
Sure.
So gluten and dairy are inflammatory foods, and I recommend to most of my clients that have joint pains and digestive issues to potentially avoid gluten and dairy. And then otherwise, processed sugars, processed flour, whether it's gluten or not, if you're going to eat gluten, try to do as much whole foods as possible and the least amount of processed stuff. If you're looking at something and reading the ingredients and there's a list of 5 or 10 or
Oh,
20
wow.
things that you can't pronounce, then it's not necessarily the best thing to put in your body. The shorter the ingredient list, and if you know what all the things are on the ingredient list, that's definitely what you want to aim for, and read the ingredients of what you're eating.
Wow. Wow. You're right. I see I have children, so they're very hard to please and they don't eat much. They're
Oh,
very
I
picky. They
know.
do the chicken
Yeah,
fingers, french fries, pizza,
sure.
and then they want their snacks. And then even looking at like the goldfish and the Cheez It labels, like they're healthy baked snacks. There's all these things in it. And I'm like, huh? What?
Yeah, totally. And this is where you have to go back to do the best you can, and
For
especially
now.
being
Yep.
a mom, you know,
Hmm.
I've heard that from a lot of my friends. Kids can be really picky about what they eat, and as long as they're eating something, you
Yep.
know.
Hmm.
My mom told me I used to only eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lunch for like years. Which, whatever. But yeah, so just do the best you can with the kids for sure. So okay, on to sleep. I know personally, I struggle with falling asleep, and I know a lot of people struggle with falling asleep. So
Yeah.
I think one of the most important things is to prepare yourself to go to sleep. And by that I mean get off your screens for at least an hour if you can. If not an hour, then a half an hour, or have minimal screen time for a couple of hours before bed. I recommend listening to some soft music, potentially doing some reading or journaling. Those are really great things before bed. And the time that you go to bed is also really key. I learned in acupuncture school that we have this internal body clock, and after 11 o'clock, this night owl energy starts to wake up. So trying to get to sleep before 11 is really important. And because if we stay up later than that, it can be 1 or 2 in the morning before we fall asleep because that night owl energy
Yeah.
wakes up, and then it's harder to fall asleep. I know this from personal experience, definitely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Is
So
there any foods we could eat to help us sleep? I mean, I know, is there any way to get natural melatonin into your system? I mean, you could
that's
take
a
a
good
pill, but
question.
I'm
I'm
curious, is
not
there
sure.
anything?
I'm trying to think. I don't know about foods. I mean, I definitely would avoid
Of
caffeine, like
course, yeah.
after 12 o'clock if possible, if not,
Uh-huh.
3 or so. I even try to watch the amount of dark chocolate that I eat into the afternoon, because that I'm really sensitive to caffeine, and there's caffeine in dark chocolate. So be careful with that. So I know more about what not to eat as far as that goes, but there's
Excuse me.
herbs that you
I
can
dropped
take.
this.
No problem.
Sorry.
It's okay. Um, there's herbs that you can take for sure. Valerian root is a really great one to help sleep. I take this herbal supplement that I get from Whole Foods. I think it's called Sleep Well, and it has
Okay,
valerian root and
good.
some other things in it. Um, yeah, and then magnesium natural calm is also really great for helping to sleep. Are you familiar with that?
No,
I
I'm
think they
not.
I think they just call it calm
I'm
now,
writing all these
CALM.
things down. Magnesium, I gotta get it on my
Yeah, yeah,
on my
it's a
grocery
powder.
list. Thank
I
you.
just put like a little more than a half a teaspoon in
Okay.
some hot water, and it fizzes, and then I take that with my vitamin D3. I've heard that vitamin D3 helps you sleep, so I take that before bed. I do
Okay.
5,000,
So it's
was it
okay to take
IU's?
a supplement because I don't know where do you get vitamin D
Yeah.
from? The sun, but vitamin D3 in particular, like what food, vegetable from?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I would take a supplement for sure. You could probably Google what foods that it's in. I'm not sure about that right now. But Yeah, I'm not gonna hurt my brain. I'm like trying to think. I'm not, I'd have to Google it, honestly. But yeah, so especially living in New York State and other places that don't get a ton of sun, it's really important to get a significant amount of vitamin D3. And you don't want to take D2, I think is the one that they sometimes prescribe. That one is synthetic or something, and it's not as good for our bodies. So D3 is the one that you want. I would say minimal 1,000 IUs a day. 5,000 is great. More than that is pushing it, because vitamin D is one of those ones that it's not water soluble, so it builds up in your system. Yeah, so I know we only have a little bit of time left and I have to get to these other things. So
No problem. No problem.
a half an hour goes by so fast, Jill. Yeah, so
Yes,
okay, so prepare yourself to go to sleep. And consistency is really helpful if you go to bed at the same time every day. And then getting up in the morning, try to not stay in bed for a long time. I know I'm guilty of this myself. This is something that I work on. I used to have this bad habit of getting my phone and just laying in bed for an hour or a half
I
an
know
hour.
we all
And
do. Yep.
yes, so I've been listening to this book on life skills recently, and one of the first things that it said was get out of bed, put your
Hmm.
feet on the floor, take
Yep.
5 deep breaths, go outside, get some fresh air and sunshine in your eyeballs, and because that helps you wake up too. And then do a little exercise, and that really is a great way to start your day. So I'm trying to do that more in the morning and get my day going faster.
Yeah.
It's a never ending process of bettering ourselves. There's always more to do.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's a good amount for the sleep as far as, oh, and then just I would aim for 8 hours. 7 hours is maybe enough for some people. I have clients that tell me that they get 6 regularly and they feel fine, but I bet they take naps.
I need like 10. It's because
I
I'm
know, right?
deprived of sleep, so I'm not getting it enough. So I think if I didn't have kids waking me up, I think I'm all about the 10. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. 10 is great. If you need
Well,
10,
I
then
go to
get
bed
10.
early. We go to bed at like 8:39 kind of. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And especially if you're not feeling well, you need
oh yeah, I
extra
need
sleep.
more. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I aim for 8, but sometimes if I don't get enough for a few days, I will sleep 10 or more. My body's like, all right, I'm going to soak this up. I
Yeah.
need to catch up on sleep. They say you can't catch up, but I believe that you can.
I always say that to I've worked in television for 20 years of my life. So getting up at 1:30 a.m. and working before I had kids, right? And then I couldn't go to bed at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock. It was hard. So I would do like a shift sleep. Then the weekend came and I could sleep till 12. So I felt like I was making it up. And everyone says, no, you can't. I'm like, tell that to my body because it feels good.
That's right. Exactly. Like you can't go backwards in time, but
No.
obviously you can start taking care of yourself better now. And if you need
Yeah.
rest, then sleep.
Hmm.
Sometimes when I give people acupuncture, they when they come in the next time, they tell me, "Oh my gosh, I went home and I slept like 4 hours, or I slept so good that night, or I slept 10 hours." And it's like helping your body to really rest because it needs that rest. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay, on to exercise. So, let's see. Exercise is so important. I feel like it helps your body function better. It helps with, I don't know if people are comfortable talking about bowel movements, but if you have trouble with constipation, this is something I
Guilty.
talk
That's
about.
me. So
I'm
you're
an
telling me that's the
acupuncturist.
first I'm ever hearing this. Wait. Sleep.
What?
Wait, what can help with constipation?
Exercise.
Exercising in general. Wow. And I don't
Absolutely.
exercise. Maybe there's a correlation there. I have
Yeah.
severe IBS and stomach issues, so that's one of the things that's also a problem that comes along with that. But maybe it's because exercise. Interesting.
Yeah, well, I
Move
think
things
everything
around and
everything works together.
true.
Stress, not getting enough sleep, your
Yeah.
diet. So as far as having, being regular, I include either flax or chia seeds in my diet
Okay.
almost every day for my breakfast, and that really helps to stay regular. There's other things that you can do. if you want to get my blogs on this sort of thing, then reach out to me, and I'll share that with you, because there's so much to share and we only have a little time left. But yeah, body exercise totally helps your body work better, increases all your body functions, including digestion and breath. Taking deep breaths is so important for helping your brain work better, being able
Yeah.
to think more clearly. It increases your serotonin levels and helps you feel more joyful. Um, it also, if you have like any kind of skin outbreak, acne, or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that, exercising regularly helps you clear your skin, because you're sweating a lot and clearing out those pores and getting your body, the blood moving and all that stuff. And it increases your confidence, relieves your stress, increases your joy, self-esteem, all the good stuff. I do yoga. I also dance, and I that's like a great social thing and also great exercise. And then I do acro yoga also, which is really fun and a good challenge. It's where you hold you balance on people
Yeah.
basically.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah. So then just to touch on attitude briefly, um, some people have heard the saying, having an attitude of gratitude. That's a really great way to be, getting to a place in your life where you can be thankful for all things, even the pain and the challenges and all of the things. Being able to get to a place of gratitude for that is such powerful medicine, and can just really help to create more peace in your life. Being able to see the bright side of things, glass half full, as they
Oh,
say.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so there's, even in the with the challenging moments, there's always going to be benefits and drawbacks to everything. So trying to see the silver lining, like with tragedies, for example, things can be really sad, like the shooting that happened in Buffalo, I think it was
Uh,
last week or 2 weekends
yeah.
ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the, um, I'm forgetting what day it is. Anyway, I'm like in a time warp sometimes.
No, it's okay. It's all
But
right.
yeah, so that was a really sad thing that happened, and a lot of people are grieving about it, including myself. But I'm also seeing the beauty and so many people gathering together and coming together to pray and connect and support each other. And a lot of people have been donating different things. And
Yeah.
a friend of mine shared this story on Facebook yesterday about these two women that he met over by the Tops on the east side of Buffalo. And it was just a really beautiful story. I know we got to wrap up.
Oh. And we have to, and look, there's some great points and tips you brought up today. If someone wants to reach out to you, could you give us your website and all
Yeah,
forms of
sure.
contact?
Again, it's laurajeanc.com, LauraJeanC.com. 716-465-7408 is my phone number. And I'm on Instagram as Laura Jean C Wellness.
Great.
You can find me on Facebook. I'm on Twitter and LinkedIn, but not very much.
Wonderful. And have a very happy birthday, Jeffrey. I know you're listening, and enjoy your evening with your family and with, of course, Laura. And looking forward to the next time we get to speak. Thank you. Enjoy your Memorial Day vacation as well.
Thank you. You too, Jill.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thank you to everyone. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.